Welcome to Talking Heads. This week, I hope you'll be inspired by Janine Shepherd, whose story is so incredible, it was made into a movie. An elite skier on her way to the Olympics, Janine's dream was shattered when she was hit by a car. She wasn't expected to survive, much less walk, or become a stunt pilot, or become a public speaker, or be my guest on Talking Heads. Janine, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Were you the sort of kid that won everything?
Oh, well, that's a tough question. I won a lot of things.
Pretty much everything, it seems to me.
Well, I was just very stubborn and very determined, yeah.
And you were completely obsessed with the 1988, the forthcoming 1988 Games, the Winter Games at Calgary. What's it like to be a completely obsessive athlete?
You'd have to ask my parents. They lived with me. To be at that level in sport, you've got to be quite selfish, I think. Life revolves around you. So everything I did revolved around my training, and cross-country skiing is the ultimate endurance event. It is a tough sport. And I love tough things.
That was part of the appeal, was it, that it was actually really a new sporting domain for Australia to get involved in?
You know, I had great opportunities, being invited to go and train with the Canadian team. Everything seemed to be falling into place. Everything that I'd worked for all my life, all the training that I'd done, seemed to be pointing me in this direction.
You're known for external things, like being a gifted athlete, having a terrible accident, amazingly putting yourself back together, and then flying, and aerobatic flying. But a lot of this journey is not external at all, it's internal.
Oh, absolutely. It's all internal. And that's, one of the greatest lessons that I've been taught as a result of my accident is that, that I'm not my body, that I'm much more than that. There was more life to be had, more experiences to be had, more love to give. That's what I'm here for.
So did you see the survival process, or do you think back on it as really running another race?
Absolutely. It's been an amazing journey, but one that has led to, the ultimate freedom. Having children to me was a great achievement. They didn't think I'd ever have children. You don't realise how badly you want something until someone says you'll never have it. A lot of people look at me and think that I look fairly normal, and they don't realise that I actually still am a partial paraplegic. I still have not a lot of feeling from the waist down. I walk with a limp, which, from day to day varies. I still have to use a catheter. I still have all of the problems that go along with paraplegia, except that I'm able to walk around. G'day, James.
How are you?
I say to people that it's a choice that we make every day in our lives. Over in the corner with Lucy. Doesn't matter what you're going through. You don't have to be going through what I went through, but it's whether you decide to get up or stay down, or whether you say yes or whether you say no to life. Basically, I decided to say yes. I grew up in Girral, New South Wales. Mum and Dad didn't have much money, so one of the sports that was available to us was little athletics because it was cheap. So athletics was really my start in sport, and I started around about 7, I think, and that really took over my life. And, I spent every weekend, I was always running, always playing sport, always doing something. And it was little athletics that really started me off on the path of competition. Gosh, this one was my first ever trophy I won for slalom skiing. That's before I moved on to cross-country skiing, and that was 3rd place in the Canberra Alpine Championships. It was a long time ago. I played softball, I played netball. I was a New South Wales triathlon champion. And for me, I guess being selected in the Australian ski team was the ultimate. I always trained hard, I always trained with the boys, I always took the hard option. So they nicknamed me Janine the Machine, which for an athlete, it was the ultimate compliment. I started off as a downhill skier, but then progressed into cross-country skiing and found that it just absolutely suited me down to the ground. My goal wasn't just to represent Australia at the Olympics, but to really go over there and show the world that an Aussie could ski. Nothing was going to stop me.
When you say cross-country skiing suited you down to the ground, what do you mean?
Well, I had an extremely high VO2 max or oxygen uptake, so I was really suited to endurance events. But at the same time, I was quite muscular in my physique. So particularly with Nordic skiing, when a new technique came along, which was skating, which everybody knows now, but when skating came along and that was introduced onto the racing circuit, that really suited a more muscular physique. And that really was me, rather than being extremely tall. It was like it was made for me.
You insightfully describe yourself in your own writing as a brat.
Yes. And I think my parents would agree with that.
What about your sisters?
I can remember a lot of holidays going away with, both of my sisters in the car and myself while we went to watch me compete.
Great holiday for them.
It was a great holiday for them, and they're never going to let me forget it either.
Do you remember sort of being driven? Where did that come from?
Driven? I was a pain. Extremely driven. I guess I'm really driven to realise my potential. As Maslow said, our greatest need is to realise our potential. And to me, that's, that is what drives me.
Well, Maslow talks about that being self-actualisation.
He does, yeah.
Which
at the top of the pyramid.
At the top of the pyramid, which some people, you need to go through other stages first. You seem to have gone to the top of the pyramid.
Oh, no, I'm a long way. I think it would be great if I was at the top of the pyramid, but
that's what you've gone
drives
after.
me. Yeah, that's what drives me, yeah, absolutely.
From a very young age.
Yeah, and not afraid of hard work.
Is it right to say then that the 88 Olympics at Calgary were the obsessive goal for Janine?
Absolutely. I broke up with my boyfriend just prior to that because I thought, no, this is the goal. It's a bit drastic, isn't it?
Pretty hard line.
It is, but I had videos of past races with Europeans and World Cup races, and I would sit down, it was so boring, and just watch these tapes till it was just so firmly entrenched in my mind that I could go to bed at night and just switch on like I was turning on.
The power of visualisation.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a master of that because I had to use that after my accident as well. I remember getting on my bike and saying goodbye to Mum and Dad and cycling off and meeting up with this large group of friends. I was hit from behind by a speeding utility truck. I had broken my neck and my back in 6 places. I'd broken 5 ribs on my left side. I broke my right collarbone. I broke my right arm. I broke some bones in my feet. I had head injuries. I had internal injuries. I lost about 5 litres of blood, which is all someone my size would actually hold. In fact, by the time the helicopter arrived at Prince Henry Hospital in Sydney, my blood pressure was 40 over nothing. I was an elite athlete. I was going to the Olympics. My whole life revolved around sport. Suddenly I'm lying in intensive care paralysed with someone telling me that everything that I've worked for and valued was gone in a split second.